What's up, everybody? Matt Moda here, and we're going to talk about the Marlins versus Phillies game today. We're talking Monday, June 16th. The Phillies, after a very successful six-game homestand, head to Miami to take on the Marlins. The Phillies swept the Blue Jays over the weekend, convincing 11-4 victory yesterday. They've now won 5 out of their last 6 games. And of course, that comes after dropping like 9 of their last 10, because that's just how baseball works. You get swept by the Pirates, then you win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, and then you sweep the Blue Jays. 2 good teams. Not only that, but those of you that were able to check out the articles that are written for Crossing Broad were able to cash a home run prediction both on Saturday and yesterday on Sunday. Max Kepler Saturday, Alec Boehm yesterday. Hopefully, both the Phillies and ourselves, we can stay hot for this game tonight. Mick Abel on the mound for the Phillies, Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins. And in this article specifically, we're going to be diving into the best MLB player props for this game, giving some home run predictions and stuff like that. Just remember to go to BetMGM, check out promo code CROSSING to get started, and let's get into it. Just remember to also like the video, comment, and subscribe. So we'll start with our home run prediction. You got to start with the bang. Give me Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, a plus 320 odds at BetMGM. Now, it kind of feels like I'm circling the wagon with Kyle Schwarber over the last week since I started doing these videos. Went with him a couple times last week, did not have any success, only for him to hit a home run on one of the days where I didn't have it. Hopefully, we can get him correct tonight. Now, the pitcher, Sandy Alcantara, if you're just looking at the name brand, you're probably a little bit scared. You know, Cy Young caliber pitcher is what you think of. Literally, he won the Cy Young in 2022, so yeah, he can do it. But missed all of 24 with Tommy John surgery and has really struggled this year. Now, his ERA is 7.14. That is a gross ERA. Admittedly, somewhat unlucky to have that bad of an ERA, but even if you look at his advanced metrics, FIP, XFIP, expected ERA, shows a pitcher that's struggling. And then for us specifically, 8% barrel rate is below average, and his Sierra, which basically measures the quality of the batted balls that he's allowed while also looking at strikeouts. So that Sierra number, 4.71, pretty decently below average. So Schwarber should see a pitcher in Sandy Alcantara that's not going to be electric against him. And you look at Sandy Alcantara, his home run numbers specifically, they're not among the worst in the MLB, and they don't quite match as bad as the rest of his statistics, but he does allow more power to left-handed hitters. His home run per 9 against lefties, 1.55, slightly below average number. And you look at all his stats across the board, average, slugging, WOBA, OPS, anything you can look at, significantly worse against left-handed hitters. Now you look at his pitch mix, he throws a bunch of pitches, but really all of them get hit kind of hard. He doesn't really have one home run pitch. Could be a changeup, could be a sinker, could be a slider, and then it could be a four-seam fastball. If it's a four-seamer, Schwarber's going to send that to the moon, but it's not like there's one specific pitch that you say, oh, this is the one that gets hit hard. Now, what I do like about taking Schwarber tonight, normally when you take Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, that number starts with a 2. You're getting plus 230, plus 240. We're getting plus 320 today. So there is decent value on this play at BetMGM. Now, the Miami Marlins, they do have a pitcher-friendly park. They got a very big outfield. So Schwarber needs to hit the ball a little bit farther than he would at home in order for him to hit a home run. But it's Schwarber. He's one of the best players in terms of bat speed. He can hit the ball 400 feet. If he does that, should be a home run. That's our first play, Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, again, plus 320, BetMGM. And then our next play, instead of diving into the home run, or I should say, instead of staying into the home run market, we're going to dive into the HRR or Herbie market, depending on what you prefer, and give me Brandon Marsh over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. This one is best offered at minus 110 odds at BetMGM. You know, it was tough to find a home run prediction worth taking. I really have liked Max Kepler recently, but you want to take him against a guy that throws a bunch of fastballs. That's not Sandy Alcantara. He throws a fastball like 25% of the time. Not quite enough. And then the other guys that I've liked recently, Turner, Boehm, none of them really have a great matchup tonight against Alcantara, which is why I didn't want to go with the home run. And then anybody on the Marlins also scared me off. So just to kind of talk about why I only have one home run prediction. Now, looking at Brandon Marsh, the HRR market is not one that I dive into a lot. And it's always kind of a push and pull. Do you take HRR? Do you take bases? But for Marsh, who doesn't hit for a bunch of power, you know, it's a much safer going with the HRR. And the odds reflect that. You know, it's minus 110 for the over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. The 2+ bases is like plus 160. So the odds, they definitely do reflect that. Now you look at Brandon Marsh. Now we'll start talking about the play here. It's funny. Baseball, it's basically made up of a bunch of little mini seasons. Batters go through slumps, they go through hot streaks. This mini season that we're currently looking at for Brandon Marsh has been very, very good. Now it's been 6 games, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend, he's going to be one of the Phillies' best hitters. No, but when you can catch him in the middle of a hot streak, these batters can go on pronounced runs where they're hot at the plate, and that's what we have in Brandon Marsh. Again, small sample size, but in these last 6 games, he's got 19 plate appearances. This is all since June 8th. In that stretch, he's got 9 hits. 2 of those hits were doubles, added 3 runs, and added 3 RBIs as well. He's batting .529 in this stretch of games. Again, that's his last 6 games. You look at the over 1.5 HRR, he would have hit this over in 5 of those 6 games. The only game he would have missed was yesterday against the Blue Jays. He had 1 hit in that game, but he wasn't brought home and he didn't get an RBI. He had cashed in 5 straight prior to that. He also has 3 multi-hit games in this stretch as well. So even if he doesn't get brought home or bring somebody home, he can do that with the hits, which again, he's done in 3 of these last 6 games. Now you look at the pitching matchup. Everything that I talked about with Kyle Schwarber, you can copy and paste for Brandon Marsh. Sandy Alcantara, worse against lefties, hasn't had a good year in general, allows more power to lefties. All that stuff benefits Brandon Marsh. Now, obviously, Marsh for him to hit a home run, that's a little bit scary. So for the HRR market, we get the benefit of somebody can bring him home. As I mentioned, maybe Otto Kemp after him brings him home. Maybe it's the top of the lineup. Trey Turner brings Brandon Marsh home. Or maybe somebody like JT, Nick Castellanos, gets on base before him, and then Marsh was able to bring that guy home with an RBI. Any of those combination of outcomes cashes this HRR for us. And at -110 odds, it's definitely worth a play. Obviously, the home run, you're going to want to unit size that down a little bit compared. It's a little bit safer or a little bit more risky as opposed to the safer play, the HRR. But that's all we got. Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, +320 BetMGM. Brandon Marsh, over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs, -110 odds. At BetMGM, head to BetMGM, use promo code CROSSING to get in on the action. Bunch of new user sign-up promos, bunch of in-app promos as well for you to dive into. That's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, check out Crossing Broad, and then also make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one. Must be 21 or older in participating states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See terms and conditions in the description of the video.